Hi there and welcome to Health Bunker Line Podcasts, and I'm your host Dom. And today I have the great pleasure in welcoming Mark Polack, who is the co-founder and director of SOS Essentials. Mark's going to talk about his fantastic herbal products, including SOS Advance, which I've been using since 2010. In these podcasts with my guests, we'll attempt to address many different health concerns caused by genetic faults, environmental factors, medical interventions and diet, which in turn go on to cause a catalogue of different health problems. I'd like to thank everybody who has ordered from our supplement store, Health Bunker Shop, that me and my wife are growing the range of products and hope to have more products going live each month. If you want to order our vitamin C powder or our new complete multi-formula, which contains every essential vitamin, mineral and amino acid panel, as well as 72 trace minerals, all in one capsule, please use the discount code HB-SF25OFF, all in capitals. And this is available on all Health Bunker branded products. If you want to contact us for more info, email info@healthbunker.co.uk. That's about supplements and the clinic. And that's it. I'll put the discount code and the contact info for SOS Essentials in the show notes too. Alright, we're ready to go. Cheers. All right, welcome back to Health Bunker's Health Podcast. And I've got someone with me today. Unbeknown to me, I was using his product probably for about, since 2010. He'll correct me on the date when it started. Probably when the first set up since then, really. Their product SOS Advance, which we sell on our website as well. And I will talk about what benefits it gave to me with my Lyme disease issues, and also the benefits it's given to my children as well. And I've seen these happening, and obviously children don't lie when they're 2-year-old, and that's no placebo. So I'd like to introduce the proprietor of SOS. I'm just going to correct me on the name. SOS or Smart Organic Solutions, Mark Polack.
Thanks very much, Dom. My pleasure to be here. And you got the name right. The SOS is acronym for Smart Organic Solutions. So
yeah. Just correct me on when did it actually start? When did you start in business?
You actually got the date right. And lots of people, think they've got it, but we started in 2010.
Right.
So January 2010 was when the company was actually established, and then the products, probably over an 8-month period of time, evolved and changed as we worked with biochemists and different people. But it was the year 2010 when we were actually, business for sale, really.
Right.
For sale.
Yeah. I got to know you guys, well, not you personally, but the company via a lady in Halifax who was a naturopath called Trudy Jackson, who's not with us anymore, sadly. It's a great lady. And she introduced me to a lot of products, and yours was one of them. And I've taken it ever since.
It's amazing, and Trudy was amazing. Became a really good friend of ours. Spent a lot of time with her, did exhibitions when she did, and so forth, and recommended a lot of people to her. So a sad loss. But look what she's left. She's joined people together, introduced them to things that are still helping now. So that's part of her legacy.
Yes.
I would say. We'd known of you, I think via Trudy and via the orders coming in, but this is the first introduction, since you've been using them. So, it's a pleasure to actually meet you.
And you're only down road in Bradford.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I mean, and we were over at Trudy's. I think at the time when we were seeing Trudy, we weren't aware of yourself and that you're using our products, because we were in Halifax quite a lot. But then we were aware that somebody was retailing the products, and then obviously we've got to this point now.
That's correct, yeah. A few stories from my own personal use of SOS Advance. I know you've got other products that we'll talk about. Yeah. But SOS Advance is really an elixir, a drink. And I use it on a daily basis. It's been helpful for gums, teeth, ironically, as well as digestion. And I'll let you explain what it really does. But I remember my youngest, he had a bad chest infection going back when he was about 9 months old. And we were going on holiday, and we were going on a cruise actually, and he had a bad cough, and he'd had it for about a few days. I didn't really want to know what to do because I was quite green then. I didn't really, I was only just learning my stuff. And
Yeah.
I asked Trudy, I said, "What is that I can give him?" She said, "Give him some SOS." Right. So he's 9 months old. Right.
Yeah.
So I filled a syringe up with SOS and and I squirted it in his mouth, and it
Yeah.
took three, probably 5 to 10 mil squirts, and the chest infection went.
Yeah.
Now roll on now when he's 13, and he takes it on his own now because he realizes what benefit it does.
Yeah. That's amazing. It really is. And it's one of those things that when we started, my business partner Nigel Silcox and I started way back in 2010, and Nigel had always wanted a natural solution to the issues that we've got. And Nigel studied essential oils and so forth, and that had always been the case. And as we worked with biochemists in the US, and he was and his business was had come up with the nano factor,
Mhm.
how to reduce the size of particles. So we worked with him for years, visiting the US and really understanding what that his input was doing to the products and to the ingredients and so forth. And we've now got something. We actually understand the cause of a lot of illness, you know. And if I break it right down, a lot of it is down to toxins built up in the body, which could be viruses, bacteria, toxins, a lot of them synthetic toxins, things that go in and don't come out of the body, but they're alien to the body. And when you can eradicate them, the body does what it was designed to do. So you mentioned it as your child, 9 months old, when everything's starting to work, and obviously at that time, sometimes they're getting various injections and different things.
Yeah, mine won't.
Well, that's another subject
Yeah,
again.
totally other subject. Yeah,
Yeah, but and I understand that actually, and agree with it. So we identify that our product removes those things,
yeah,
and it is a detox for the blood, so it's working in the blood. And when people appreciate, the blood goes everywhere. So if it happens to be toxic, it could be your liver, it could be your lungs, it could be any organ in the body that gets contaminated or has an issue.
yeah.
So when you break it down and you can clean the blood, then you're actually helping the whole body, specifically the immune system, but the whole body. Yeah.
I mean, it does work very well with the ozone therapies we do at the clinic, because obviously ozone TEMPAS therapies, I don't know if you've seen those in action, but
Okay.
basically you draw the blood out, and it goes into a bottle, and it's ozone is then injected into it. It's mixed, and then it goes back in, filtered blood. But using your organic solution afterwards
Yeah.
enhances the treatment.
Right. I've heard of it. I'm not seeing it done, but yeah,
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
heard of it.
I've
Yeah.
literally I've lost count how many of them treatments I've had, but yeah, and likewise with vitamin C as well. It works. It helps. It works with that, because a lot of these things are about getting into a cell, aren't they, and cleaning a cell
Correct.
out.
Correct. It's getting to a cellular level.
Mm,
Now, as you understand, and hopefully, I can explain it in a way that the particles just happen to be bigger. They're not cellular
mm,
in most things, whether it's medicines or whether it's natural solutions that we take. So the cell can only absorb a small amount. So you're taking that on a regular basis over a long period of time in order to get a good outcome. And all the time, you've got the pathogens fighting against the white blood cells and so forth. So you've got the illness. But I mean, out the particle size of our products is 7 to 10 nanometers.
yeah.
So a tenth the size of a cell.
Yeah, so someone emailed me actually and said, because it says nano, obviously a lot of people are, I've listened to since 2021 people talking about nanoparticulates in the I call them arm spears,
Yeah.
the 3 dart finish that people were subjected to,
Yes.
from our friends Pfizer and all the other ones,
Yeah.
um, and you can't mix up. Nano means small, so it's not the technology, same technology. It means small as nano. I just want to point that out.
Absolutely. And, a lot of the research worldwide by the big research institutions is on nano. In the
Mm,
90s, it was micro, your microchip, microcomputer, and so forth. And now technology's moved on. So if they can get a small amount of whatever they have into the body, it costs them less and it could be more effective.
Yeah.
Now, if you're working with pharmaceutical, it's going to be very different from working with natural. So, I mean, I met a lady at an exhibition we did in Manchester maybe 5 weeks ago, and as soon as she saw nano, she said, "I hate you guys." And I had to ask her, why? And she said, "Nano, do you know what you're doing to people?" And then I just gave her that simple explanation. It just means small. And if
Yes.
you look at the ingredients, you'll see they're all natural. And we can get these into the deep tissue of your body. What do you think about that? And she changed. She said, "You just opened my eyes. I was totally against nano." So you're right. It's used in the press all the time, and it's a new term. So a lot of people don't understand, well, what is it? Is it a nanobot? Is it some new technology of, little computers, little robots in your body and stuff, which it could be in the wrong hands, but in our case, we've reduced the size of the particles so it can get into the deep tissue of the body.
What you're basically doing, and I keep saying this, is that the whole life is like a maze. It's a puzzle to work out. And everything is produced by these massive corporations, whether we like it or not. They've got their hands in everything.
Correct.
But not everything's bad. Because the reason they're doing this eugenics experiment worldwide, or whatever they're doing, playing around with things, is to find something for themselves that aids their life expectancy or health or whatever. And all we've got to do is find out what they're using. And some of the stuff that you're talking about, essential oils, been used for thousands of years.
Absolutely.
A lot of supplementation's been used a lot. They're the things that they're telling us not to take.
Correct.
But they're taking them. The elites are taking them.
Well, we come against, let's say the David and Goliath has been, mentioned lots of times. I mean, we are a small company, as is a few hundred other small natural companies.
As are we, yeah.
Yeah. So we may have something good, but whatever we've got is coming against, the giant that is these pharmaceutical companies. And if they could squash us, they would. And the regulations that we have to operate within now confirm that, because the hurdles they're asking us to jump over just to put our products out there, or the restrictions we've got from what we say, really makes it very difficult for us to be effective. And as you say, for example, there are doctors. I'm not coming against the NHS because they provide a great service for us, but there are doctors in there that use our products, but they can't mention it to their patients.
I had the lead, and anyway, he was a lead doctor in one of the in a big hospital. I won't say where, anaesthetist he was, and he comes up for ozone therapies. There are some doctors out there who are wise to all this stuff, and they're definitely wise. A lot of them are jumping over the fence into natural as well, aren't they?
A few of them are. We do another exhibition, Integrative Health, in London, which is going to be in June, and it's mainly for doctors, medical practitioners. And so we've seen a lot that are thinking about it. A few that have come out of it into their own practice and so forth, but most just don't have the option. And in terms of natural healing or natural cures or using herbal medicines, in 7 years they get around an afternoon to discuss natural cures, because the universities and the curriculum and everything is sponsored by companies that are a lot bigger than us that tend to produce pharmaceuticals. So I haven't got anything against the doctors, but what they've been trained to do to use these other products which are not natural, and it's unfortunate for the general public because they just are not used to. They just have no confidence in it until they've used it or they know someone who's used it.
Yeah, well, they've got no. We've handed over. I know we're talking about something totally different. We'll come back onto the product. We've handed over our health jurisdiction, like everything else,
we have,
to experts. Let's say, in a certain field, whether it's education or health or law or whatever it might be, and we can't now operate or think for ourselves as a group, as a species, if you like.
And what you're saying is, the main one is your doctor. I mean, your lawyer's going to advise you, and you're going to think about it, and your accountant's going to advise you. But when your doctor says you need to take this for so long and come back and see me, you just take it. You're not even questioning it in a lot of cases. And I think we should always question, because the doctors are human like us. And if a doctor says take this, I think it's reasonable to ask the doctor, why should I take it? What's it going to do to me? What's the side effects and so forth? And then you make an informed decision.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but going back to we'll talk about SOS Advance because that's the main one. I mean, I know you do it in a capsule form as well now, which is easy to take, and I'm sure both of them have slightly different benefits as well. Because go on, sorry.
Your mode of action is different. So when you take the SOS Advance as a liquid, then it's helping, as you said initially, your gums, your teeth, your mouth, your throat, all the way down. So you're getting that benefit. We often pick up viruses and bacteria from our mouth and so forth. So it's going to be working on them immediately. And because it's liquid, it's going to be in the blood really quickly. Now, the capsules, on the other hand, their mode of action is different. They're enteric. They don't break down until they get into the intestine. There's a lot of bacteria and issues there. So it starts to eradicate them quickly, then into the blood. So they're both, once they're in the blood, they do exactly the same. The difference is we do add diatomaceous earth to the capsules. So that is great for the body anyway. So that's not in the liquid, but it is in the capsules because we didn't want to use just a filler or something that had no value. We wanted to look at how can we add value, rather than just put something there just to be a filler.
Can you explain what diatomaceous earth does for people? I've used that clay before. It's like a clay, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we get it in a powder form.
Yeah.
And we add it. So it's very good at cleansing assisting in cleansing the body. So people use it. People have been using it, and they are using it more and more. But for us, when we did investigation really, and looking at what's the best thing to put in the capsules, the diatomaceous earth came up head and shoulders above anything else because it works with our product ingredients, so coming against pathogens in the body and so forth. In terms of health, we're looking at how do we optimize your health. So as it stands, the product is already optimized, but that is something that works alongside it or actually in it in the capsules.
I like the thought process that if I'm going to put something in, there's got to actually be a benefit. I'm not just going to put rice flour or magnesium stearates in just to fill a capsule up.
Correct. And lots of people do, and I'm not coming against them, but even
I am.
Well, it depends on what they're putting in, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But even the SOS Advance itself. So when we started, we used, I'd say, at least for the first 6, 8, 10 months, we just used normal bottled water that we got in the manufacture process. And then as we continued our investigation and research, we identified that there's so many different types of water, and we came across an individual that does water filters. And when we tested it, his was the best. It just head and shoulders above most others, I'd say. And we realized that it worked better with our product to have an alkaline water. So we don't just use any water that goes in the product. The product is alkaline anyway, with the ingredients 10.5 alkalinity. And we use the high alkaline water. So everything working together, for the benefit of the body.
Yeah. I suppose when you're going through the testing stage, when you're going through the manufacturing stage, two different things, isn't it? You've got to have every box ticked in a way.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate to have good people. We've got biochemists in India, the main ones in the US, who really understood, how things work together and helped to inform us. But we had to go do the due diligence. We had to get all the tests on the product, what the impact it could have on the body and so forth, which you have to do because you're providing a product to somebody to enhance their health, and you want to know, is there a side effect, what could happen, and you've got to inform people. So it's been a long process, but we learned very quickly, and then the feedback we've had for the SOS Advance has been, and still is today, really exciting. And I travel the world with it. I'm meeting people all over who've used it, and I'm still somewhat impressed and definitely surprised at some of the things that said, "Oh, I've used it for this." Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, okay," because it just does what it does in a natural way. And it's what they call multimolecular. So most things today are unimolecular. You take Panadol or ibuprofen or something like that. It does one thing in the body because it's a synthetic. So it's created, it's been synthesized, put together. It does one thing. But when you're dealing with nature, you've got different ingredients, and when they get into the body, they're doing a number of things. So for someone who takes it for blood pressure, as an example, they might find that their skin is looking better. Someone that takes it for diabetes, they find, they're digesting things better as well. So, it's having a number of impacts on that body. So we can't promote it as a product just for one issue. It's a very holistic product.
Yeah.
And the main thing we say is take it for a month, to at least a month, take it religiously, drink water, do some level of exercise, even if it's just walking, to get your circulation going, and then you can, comment or see a doctor, whoever you need to see. But you will see, and you will get some benefit in that month.
I love using it. Clean my teeth, non-fluoride toothpaste, obviously.
Yeah.
Swallow my mouth out, and then drink that and swirl it around my mouth.
Yeah,
I do that every time I brush my teeth. That's without drinking it in between. So,
well, you've got it right, and interestingly enough, we've got a few products that they're not on the market; they're still in stages of development. But one of them is a mouthwash.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm interested about that one. Yeah.
So we've had it for a little while, but it's going through the processes. So you totally
I'm a good guinea
right.
pig. I'm a good guinea pig.
Okay, then okay, good. No, good. I'll remember that. We'll get something across to you.
Yeah,
I'll have to talk offline about that.
Yeah. But no, the SOS Advance. I know it's your flagship product, but it's the one I always recommend, especially as an add-on to anybody who wants to detoxify.
The interesting thing about, there's lots of interesting things, but we get feedback from lots of practitioners for how they're using it. So we have another practitioner who's down in London. They have obviously a lot of different challenges with the cars and all of that. And he gets the client to put it in a small foamer bottle, and which we provide, and then they just foam it into their mouth, and it breaks up the biofilm. Yeah, which in some areas, in some of the big cities, it's worse than in the countryside and so forth. So they're getting bacteria, they're getting issues, and they're repeated. They're getting them over and over again because they've got that biofilm. So it breaks that up very quickly, and they get the benefits.
A lot of people, since say 2020, when the nonsense started, a lot of people have gone down the road of germ theory versus terrain theory, and I like to get your perspective on it. I like asking people different perspective on it.
Yeah,
I know the terrain's important, and I can't say that no one's compromised. I certainly am with what I went through, and so the damage has been done sometimes, and a lot of times you need things to help you on a daily basis, and I think SOS is one of them. But where do you on there are no viruses because you can't see them under a microscope theory?
Yeah, and
I'm not trying to catch out, Mark. It's just more interesting to hear different people's approaches on it.
No, I've had, especially with that thing that we had in 2020, lots of conversations about what is a virus, and is it really there, or isn't it there? I go to the level of, let's say, bacteria.
Yeah.
Okay, because people can see those and so forth. And what the SOS, when we've got a pathogen in the body, if you look at the makeup of it, it has a biofilm around it. It's like armor, so that it can go into the body and do what it's doing, and creates a problem for the white blood cells to break it down. So the SOS Advance breaks that film down. So they're then floating around the body, but with no protection. So we've just supported the body in eradicating pathogens from the body.
And I think you've sort of hit it on the nail there, that some of these pathogens are bad for us if our defences are down. If his force field is low, for argument's sake, for want of a better phrase, then what normally wouldn't make a difference to us actually do make a difference. So they're not actually, most of them aren't friendly. They
Yeah.
are, but our body can handle them. It's only when we
It can.
compromise.
I think what you were saying, our lifestyle,
Yeah.
dictates how effective our immune system is going to be.
Mm.
And if you're eating, your fast foods, then obviously your immune system's not as strong as it should be. But it's actually worse than that, because if you look at the food chain, how was the veg or the fruit grown? What chemicals were on it at that stage? Have they got into the food chain? Then we're eating something because it's vegetable for the micronutrients, but it's not giving us the benefit because it doesn't have them.
Yeah.
It's been grown with chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So we are very challenged at the moment. Our bodies are kind of being really challenged without us knowing it,
Possibly
unless
the
you can
most
afford to get
ever.
your
Possibly the
organic.
most ever.
Yeah, literally the most ever. It's never been worse. But there's a way we've got to be selective and we've got to be aware. I saw something. I won't mention the name of the company. I saw something that somebody did. They bought a burger from a well-known burger chain, and in February 23, and they opened it last week. They went back to it last week, and it was in the same state as it was 12 months ago, 14 months ago. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what we're eating in some cases. It's full of preservatives and colors and enums and whatever. And what's the benefit, or what's the disruption that it's having on our body? And in many cases, it's having a negative impact.
Yeah, and more, and a negative impact to life as well. And it's not, and if you think going back 100, 200 years, 300 years, I know your company's called Smart Organics, but everything were organic.
Of course it was. It just grew from the ground.
Yeah, everything were organic. And if we go back into our genetic gene pool, when somewhere, I don't know, I think down west of Africa or something like that for me, we were fishing and whatever they were doing there. I don't know where you guys are from, but
I'm from the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, they were picking wild vegetables and things like that, whatever were in season.
And it's the case. But as it happens, it's still like that to an extent. A lot lesser now, because they've got KFC and different, they've got different fast foods as well. I think, unfortunately, but they've still got the heritage there of, they know this tree is good for this and so forth. And I spend a lot of time in Ghana, as it happens, because it's probably one of our biggest markets, and they've got natural doctors working alongside your Western doctors, and they both have the same level of respect, because historically, as you said, they all used to use things that are natural, so they can't throw that away. They know it works, but they have also included the Western side as well. So we found that the SOS Advance fits in so well, because they know some of the ingredients, they understand that natural things are good for you, they understand, well, there's not going to be any side effects on this, and a lot of people are moving away from things that could give them negative side effects.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've never felt any side effects. No, my kids, my grandson's taking it now as well. So, and he's 2 years old. So, I mean, I don't think he wants to take it, but he's taking it.
I don't think there's any children that want to take it, and most adults, we have people now that say, I can't take it anymore, and I understand it, because we live in a society where everything needs to be sweet. Our palate is being trained to have sweet things, and if you have anything that isn't, automatically you don't like it.
Yeah, strange. I love it. Love the peppermint.
Yeah, I come across even this exhibition we did in Manchester. A lady walked up and she said, "Wow, this is fantastic. I take it every day. I love it." And I know it's not to everybody's taste, but some people do. And if you're dealing with herbal products, there's a lot worse than SOS Advance.
100%. I mean, to me, it tastes quite medicinal, not from a pharmaceutical point of view, but it does taste medicinal. There's a medicinal taste to it.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, you'll probably taste the oregano, and maybe the neem, maybe the black seed initially, and then the end taste is the peppermint and the spearmint.
Yeah.
So it's better that it starts that way than the other way.
Yeah.
People can actually get used to it. Another way of looking at it, it's a soak for the blood.
Fantastic way of putting it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a blood cleaner. So it's a soap for the blood, and people say it's a bit soapy and it tastes a bit like this. Well, it is actually a soap for the blood.
Yeah, and it's not about the river of life, the blood, and
Yeah, absolutely.
everything happens there, doesn't it? Really, and
people, because of we're influenced by, let's say, Western medicines, then we're not looking at how things are connected in a lot of ways. You're looking at the symptom as opposed to the cause. So, if you've got a rash, how can I make the rash go away? But what caused the rash in the first place? Yeah, and so our products deal with the cause because it deals with the blood, and we know blood is our life force.
Yeah.
So if that's toxic in any way, it's going to have an impact. Whether we've got no energy, whether things are not working the way that they're supposed to do. Whether your immune system isn't as effective as it should be. So you can clean that up at source, and you find you've got more vibrancy, more energy. Things are working better. And so yeah, we're very fortunate that we've got a product that's good for a lot of different things.
Yeah. And are you allowed to say what it, all right, cleans the blood? Are you actually allowed to say what things it can help?
We can give testimonials because and you'll see on the website. Well, we've had to change the website so many times.
I bet.
Because initially, both myself and Nigel weren't from the health industry, and I was business development. So we just put on the website what it did. And and that didn't last long. I think it lasted about a week,
right?
If that. And so we're now very restricted. We can't even put some of the testimonials that we get on the website just because they just create problems for us.
Yeah.
So we are more generic. We let people know it cleans the blood, and we can put some of the testimonials up. So if I am somewhat generic, blood disorders, digestive problems, skin complaints, which covers many of the challenges with the body. If you're dealing with someone who's older and they get the natural aches and pains of old age, they'll feel a lot better. Somebody who's younger and their immune system is building up, then it's great to support them, with their immune system as they develop. So so many testimonials, and I can discuss them if a person used it and had this benefit. I just have to say a disclaimer that says, results may vary, and if you have a major issue, see your doctor. So. Yeah. And don't stop taking, whatever the doctor tells you to take. So we don't want to replace that until your body's fixed, and then you make that choice.
Yeah, it is a difficult process for all of us because we can't actually say what these things do. People ring us up at the clinic and say, "So will ozone do this for me?" And we can't say that. And also, like you said before, somebody will take it for one thing and get benefits for a different thing.
Yeah.
And you're surprising what symptoms seem to drop off with different treatments for different people.
Yeah, and that's, you said, you've been taking it for a number of years, and something might happen now to benefit somebody. Say they took it for a blood disorder and they find the skin's getting better. But the longer they take it, the more positive impact it's having on the body. And so even on the bottles, we say take it 1 to 3 months. And, the feedback that we get is, the first week I didn't feel any different, but like the second week, I started to feel the energy, or this thing started to go down or started to get better. So we say, take it for at least a month. We do have another product, which is the SOS Maintain, which is a follow-up product to be taken as a supplement, just like once a day, once the challenges have gone. But the SOS Advance does the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I always say, take it until the issue's gone.
Yeah. What other products have you got, Mark?
Yeah, so the SOS Maintain is the follow-up. Great product. It's only in liquid form, it's not in.
I've tried that as well. I like that. But,
capsule form. Yeah, it's great. It is really useful. It's not just a half variation of the Advance. It's got different ingredients that work with the body, but it doesn't have as many, and it doesn't have the amount, the volume as the Advance. Yeah. So, and then we have another one, which is On Care. Now, the On Care has got 14 different essential oils in it. It also has CBD, which is well known for lots of benefits, inflammation, pain, and lots of other things. Also has turmeric in it and black pepper. And the black pepper helps everything to work better, just like accelerates everything. So that's a great product, and we make it available make it available for lots of things, but the feedback has been pain, in a lot of cases, sleep issues, energy problems, and other things. But it's a great product.
It's just a shame we can't talk about what these things can do, and that is the shame about it all. But that's
the thing is with this one, with the OnCare, it's a criminal offence to talk about some of the things, which is a different subject again, because we're talking about health and wellness.
Yeah.
So we leave it for the customers, and the customers can get it from practitioners. So a practitioner can say, take this, and they can say why they should take it. But as the manufacturer, we're somewhat restricted in what we say. But we have the SOS OnCare. That's in liquid, that's in capsule, and that's also topical. So that's in 3 different formats. And then we have other products which are topical. So we've got Aleve, which comes in a foam. And the Aleve is great for arthritis, for pains, some inflammation, really, things that are based on the skin, muscle and joint pains and so forth. And the Aleve works really well with the Advance. So the Advance internally and the Aleve, we've had people who've had arthritis, they've rubbed it on their joints and so forth, and also taken the Advance and felt, the benefit there. So the Aleve is a great product. And then we've got Face and Body Skin Tonic, which if you haven't used it, is also amazing. They've all got the same technology behind them, but different ingredients. So that's great for rashes, for pimples, for bites, for stings, for burns. My lady burnt herself while she was cooking, and it was a really bad burn. And I just said, put the Face and Body on it, which we'd never done before. It's about 2 years ago. She put it on, it didn't come up as a scab or anything. It just healed. There's no mark to say where it was or whatever. And we were considering, we'd go to the doctors and see what do we do about this. So it's great for the skin because, again, it's in a nano formulation. People with rosacea, facial issues and so forth, they've put it on and not washed it off. So it's something that you'd use after you've done your daily regime for washing your face and so forth. And then you just put it on and leave it to soak in the skin. Some people use it after, as a cleanser when they've removed their makeup and so forth. So, because it gives a deep cleanse and it goes deep into the tissue.
And we were talking a bit ago about these, I call them ancient knowledge, if you like, that's getting forgotten about. And probably your type of products is bringing these back into the modern era, isn't it?
It really is, because the research that we did looked at the benefits. I mean, you've got Chinese medicine, which is that old. You've got the Indian medicine, which I think they're the oldest, and they've got the most biggest array of essential oils and the knowledge of that. So you're looking at what's already been researched, and then you're using it in today's health and wellness. And again, when you can reduce the size of those particles to nano, then you're providing something that's working better in a lot of cases than things that are out there, because natural ingredients are better for us, but they can't get to cellular level. So if someone has, let's say, something to reduce swelling or inflammation, that's pharmaceutical, then it's going to work, and it's going to work quite quickly. And if they take something natural, it's going to take a lot longer in a lot of cases. But if they take one of our products, it will work as quickly or quicker than the other. So we're giving people options. If you look at, and I'm not coming against anybody's, products, but if you look at the pharmaceutical products, they have a sheet of paper inside their products which give you the lowdown and tell you what could or may happen to you if you take it. Most people don't read it. And if they did, they might not take it. For us, it is what it says on there, and there's nothing else.
I'd say they probably would still take it. Most of them do, and put up with the side effects. And I'd say side effects are probably profit profit uplifters because the side effects create more sales of other drugs. Then it's just a catalogue of, and once you're in that cycle, you become it's even more difficult not just to get off the drugs, but to rewind the clock back, isn't it?
Yeah, you become dependent, and if you stop them and got rid of that fear that's sometimes in people's heads, they'd find that things can start working properly. But another thing with that, if you're taking 5, 6, 10, 20 in some cases, different medicines a day, which is really unfortunate. We found that out when we went to the US, that they were on so many medications every day that it was scary. And what they've got today, we're going to have tomorrow. So it's really unfortunate. But when we looked at what is the impact on the body, and if you decided that you wanted to go against one of these companies, you've got no chance, because who do you go for? You can't blame it on one or the other. You've been taking all of these things together, and everyone can put their hand up and say it wasn't me. Yeah. So we do have a lot of people that come to us and use the products, get great benefits, but then they ask, why didn't we know about you before? I've been on this thing for 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and if we knew about you, we'd come straight to you. But as I say, we're a small voice in a big world. We're a drop in the ocean. And so, opportunities like this are great for us because, it creates awareness.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though, because from my perspective, with our supplements and clinic, I don't really want to be that well known. I'd prefer it to be like Fight Club, where it's more of an underground thing, but quite a popular underground thing.
It is. The challenge is there's lots of people that need your services.
Yeah.
And because you provide a service for health and well-being, yes, you may not want to be everywhere, but I'm sure as an option, it's good to, because the feedback I'm sure you get is someone uses your services and says, I feel great. And that's the purpose.
Yeah.
And for us, they use the products and say, I feel great. That's the only thing we want to hear. Whether they use our product with another one and another one, we're okay. There's lots of people got, we're in 2024 now. We're supposed to be progressing in terms of life longevity, good health, and so forth. And we find out, let's say diabetes, blood pressure, heart failure, and then in older age, dementia, and so forth. Well, where's that going then?
We know where that's going, don't we?
Yeah, but how did we get there? If we're progressing and more people are getting those issues, are we progressing?
No, we've been lied to as usual, and we've been told we're progressing. So mentally, we think we are, but in reality, we're going backwards. I think Aldous Huxley said technology will be used to go backwards because it'll just give them bigger control over us, and so that's what we're doing. We're just going backwards. But people like yourself and other people out there who are sort of trailblazing with great products that are helping people enhance the life will never get the mainstream plaudits that they should be getting. Sadly.
No, we won't. We'll never have a voice that big. But we want it to be at least as an option.
Yeah.
And there's some countries that will, let's say, applaud us or welcome us more than others. Our expectation when we started 14 years ago was we thought the US would be our biggest market. Because they've got the disposable income, they're aware of natural things and so forth. And we do sell quite a bit into the US. But strangely enough, and my background is business development and marketing, so I had no idea it would be Africa. It was like the last place you imagine, because apparently they have no disposable income. You're not going to be able to afford it and so forth. But they didn't just inquire, they were buying it. And Trudy was part of this actually, because we put her on our website, on our homepage, when she was getting going and so forth. And so she was getting inquiries from Ghana. She's like, Mark, I need some more products. I've just had some orders from Nigeria, from Ghana, and so forth. All right. So, but we found out now they have a lack of healthcare. There's less doctors per capita, and so their interest is something that works. That was their main interest, something that works. And a lot of them had cheap medicines either put over there by Europe or India or China or whatever. So when people found out, oh, it's natural and it works, there was an affinity with it, and there still is. And as I say, we're quite well established in some of those countries.
I would say countries like that as well have got a distinct mistrust of Western businesses, Nestle and all these other ones, or Bill Gates going in and trying to experimentally jab everybody, because they see the effects of all this stuff, don't they? Whether it's Nestle milk and whatever.
The interesting thing is, it is having that impact, but I would even say to an extent like the UK, there's a small percentage of people that see what's really happening. And over there, it's even worse because some are living hand to mouth and just getting on with life. So even though Bill Gates or whoever goes over and changes things, they know that they're just buying what they were buying, or they tell them you've got to have this thing, whatever the product is, they just take it because in a lot of cases they don't know of any other options. Yeah, if you've got no money, you don't have any choice.
Yes.
So it's interesting, with traveling to see what is happening in different places. But I always seem to come across people like yourself who have an interest in having a positive impact, in those arenas for people and creating awareness. So in the same way that this is creating awareness for those who want to listen, is what the SOS Advance is doing. It's giving people options. Have a look, have a think about it. Don't just take it because they've told you or asked you to take it, but have a think about it, and then you make the decision and take responsibility for it.
All you've got to do is look at the ingredients of SOS, look up each individual ingredient and the beneficial fact of what they actually say, even if it's just Googling it, because there are benefits there. And that's just a broad brush and not a deep dive into what these things do. And it'll tell you what the benefits of each ingredient is, right?
Yeah.
And then add in the nanotechnology part of it that enhances it into your cells. And that's all the investigation or research that is actually needed from you. What your products do, and what hopefully we do, is give people a bit of knowledge or a bit of insight, so they can then take control of their own health.
Yeah, correct. But people, they're not taught to. It's easier if someone else tells them what to do and they do it. And so a lot of people are like that. But if you give them the choice, I think mostly, unfortunately, it's when they're scared. So they found out there's a problem, and then they start thinking, what can I do? And really, it should be just a part of how we live. We take responsibility for other areas of our life, and this is our health. People, a lot of cases in the UK, people are more resistant to paying for a health product than they are in some of the other countries I mentioned. It's crazy.
I mean, that's what the NHS has done, and I would say it was probably by plan, but give people free things, and they're more likely to go to that place, especially the nature of the British people as well.
They're not comfortable. They say, how much?
Yes.
I'm not paying that. And they haven't got the mindset that this is for your health.
And also, they'll say, if it was that good, and we get this with high-dose vitamin C IVs and things like that.
Yeah.
If it was that good, why wouldn't the NHS do it?
Yeah.
They were the questions that we get. I don't know if you've had that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it all the time. But it's I explain it where I can, but in a lot of cases, I just have to let it go, because somebody's mentality is that everything they get, from that source is good. And I think the NHS does a lot of good. You need surgery, you need things like that. There's nowhere else that you're going to go and get it done.
The A&E part, they've probably got it nailed, haven't they? Or the ambulance guys and what have you. They can bring people back from dead. And, literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they should just make an option to have natural things. I think, that would, let the door open. But I know that a lot of the pharmaceutical companies are, I could use the word cutthroat. Basically, they want it all. They don't want people to have other options.
No.
And I've come across that personally. So,
Well, it's a $2 trillion industry.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they won't need people ill. Like when I said, I was actually having a conversation about this on Sunday when my youngest were playing football with one of the guys, and I explained to him that the mess your diet up, the fry you with EMFs,
Yeah.
and then they treat you with toxins,
Yeah.
and you wonder why you're ill.
It's,
And basically, and if you were going to go to war, let's just say when they invaded Iraq, Mr. Tony Blair and Bush invaded Iraq, um, they the same principle can be thrown at as body, as health, because they attacked the food sources, they poisoned the water, they infiltrated them with EMFs and noise and things like that, and
yeah.
made people ill. So they weakened the system.
Yeah.
They bombed the main arteries. I mean, there's a clue there in the main in the wording. Everything, the food and everything. So that's what we are. We're under attack, and we need products like this to help us attack the attack, if you like.
Yeah. We do. I mean, we have practitioners, kinesiologists, and different practitioners that look at the energy levels of the SOS Advance, and it's off the scale.
Mm.
So it's a highly energized product, and we are energy. So you've got something that's working with your body, because your body can literally do everything itself if it's not compromised. That's what it's created for.
Yeah.
So, but because we have got the EMFs, and we're being attacked by all of these things, we need help.
Yeah.
We live in an environment. How do you get away from your Wi-Fi and your other
Oh, you said the wife then?
No, I can't say that. No. Not trying to get away from the Wi-Fi. But the Wi-Fi, you can't. It's part of life now. We're being bombarded by these different frequencies all the time. And one of the challenges which I try to discuss with people is, historically, definitely my parents, probably your parents, and people back in the day used to have a regime of cleansing. So, in the Caribbean, they'd boil some herbs and such, and you drink it, it cleanses your body. Okay.
Do you know what my dad used to do? My dad was a butcher, and we brought up on a farm, hence why the other podcast called Sheep Farm.
Right.
Not just because we're all sheep and we're being farmed, but
I was wondering if it might be like that.
Yeah, he was a butcher. And so he said when he was young, they used to make him, obviously when they're making like, I don't know, sausages and things like that, there's a lot of the waste, like blood.
Yeah.
And he'd put salt and pepper in and drink it.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't do that, but he would. Yeah. And he said that was very cleansing. But anyway.
We've grown up with castor oil, with all of these different things, but today it's frowned on.
Yes.
Right. So if you can imagine, you've got a buildup of toxins, pathogens,
whatever. Yeah.
Synthetic things in your body. It can't work right.
No.
It's not going to, unless you cleanse it. So the Advance helps to clean your blood. You should do detox regularly. We're being bombarded, but we've got to get that stuff out of the body.
We've got to take control of the known knowns. And if we can control the known knowns, we're in a better position. Don't mean to say it's going to solve everything, but we're certainly in a better position.
I went to Trudy's, when I used to use, she's been my practitioner.
Yeah.
And she said, Mark, what are you doing you've had Chinese this week, haven't you? Because she picked it up in her screening.
Yeah, in the blood.
Right. You've got microwaves in your body and so forth. And, if she hadn't told me, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then when they say, all right, I'm going to be careful where I keep my phone. I'm going to be careful where I am. I'm going to make sure that I'm okay. So she knew. And if more people went to practitioners like yourself and so forth, got a screening, looked after their health, they'd be informed to actually take that responsibility.
Yeah, there's nothing like seeing your blood and someone pointing out what these things are while it's swimming around and you can see it moving on a screen. That does wake you up a little bit, doesn't it?
That's you. And then she's saying, or John Ogden, we work with as well.
Yeah,
now.
John. Yeah, I know John. Yeah.
And they're saying, well, look, this is it. You've got this problem. You've got that problem. This is going there. This is doing that. And if you don't do these other things, and this is why you're feeling the way you are. This is why you've got this issue. This is what you need to do. So, we're all working together, which is great. Actually, for the solution. We're part of the solution as opposed to the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how I like to see what we're doing.
So we're coming up to about 45 minutes, probably a bit longer. Contact details, website, and if people are watching this on Rumble or Odyssey, you can see the website behind Mark's right shoulder there.
Yeah, well, it's SOSessentials.com.
Yeah.
So SOSessentials.com. You see a video. There's a video on there with the background to the company and the products, and then all the products are on there, and our contact details as well. We ship worldwide, literally. We're available if people want to pick it up if they're local.
Yeah. Or you can buy it from Health Bunker if you want to as well. But again, I say to people, we get our little bit of products. As long as you buy it, that's all that counts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds a bit out there. I'm not trying to force people to buy it from me. They can buy it from who they want. But making people aware is the key thing of these podcasts.
Yeah. Well, in saying that, one of the things we're just having our website kind of redrafted and some changes on it and so forth. And one of the pages we want to add is where can you get the product?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about it for a long time, but we haven't changed the website for a while. So
it takes some doing though, mate, doesn't it? When it's like stopping an oil tanker, it's a
lot of work. You've really got to have the time to do it. But we made the decision and we are doing it. So I'll talk to you about, your details and so forth. We'll have them on a page and people can go directly make calls by the products. So happy for that to happen.
Cool. Yeah. So anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up? Oh.
I just say people need to take responsibility for their health. It's not what I say, but it's just, for their own benefits. And SOS Advance is a good option. It's a great option. It's different. It's a unique product based on the ingredients and based on the technology behind it. The way we create the nano is a natural formulation. So normally they beat particles against each other to break them down, and they use different chemicals and so forth. Ours is fully natural, so we can decide on the size of the particles we want. Okay, so there's no chemicals in it. So I think that's a useful thing to say. But I'd say
no robots,
no nanobots, none of that. I'd say to people, try SOS Advance. Try it for a month, and feel the difference yourself. It's the good thing with the SOS Advance, as opposed to some of the other things, is you feel a difference. Because some things, it's doing you good. I take vitamin C every day. I know it's doing me good. I don't physically feel a difference, but I know it's doing me good. If I go for a screening, I'm going to be better than I would have been. But with the SOS Advance, in a lot of cases, you can actually feel the difference in your body. You might not, because you've been taking it for a long time.
I did it first.
It's normal.
I did it first. Yeah.
You feel a difference. So thanks for inviting me on the show. Really appreciated it.
No problem.
I will be going around to see some of our retailers and so forth. So I'll make a point of coming to see you.
Yeah, it'd be good to meet up.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that. I'll make sure that happens.
All right, then. Well, thanks for joining me today, Mark. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And join us next time. Okay, thanks for listening to Health Bunker Line Podcasts. Remember, if you want to contact SOS Essentials, I'll put all the details in the show notes. If you want to order supplements from Health Bunker, use our code HBSF25OFF. It's in the show notes. That's HB-SF25OFF. Sorry, all in capitals. If you want to contact us, email info@healthbunker.co.uk. That's for the supplements and for the clinic. All right, that's it for this time. Join us next time when we'll cover another health subject, and we'll try and take control of our own health.